Did Napoleon really lose at Waterloo? The shocking truth. June 18th, 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. A date that's etched in history as the moment when Napoleon Bonaparte, the master tactician, faced his ultimate defeat. But what if the truth is more complex than we've been led to believe? Was Napoleon's loss at Waterloo truly his fault? Or was it the result of unforeseen circumstances, external forces, and miscalculations that doomed his empire? Today we unravel the shocking truth behind one of history's most decisive battles. Napoleon Bonaparte, once the ruler of most of Europe, had been exiled to the island of Elba after his first defeat. But in 1815, he returned to France and reclaimed the throne. Europe, fearful of his resurgence, quickly formed a coalition against him. Britain, Prussia, Austria, and Russia. The stage was set for a final confrontation. Napoleon, ever confident in his military genius, faced off against the Duke of Wellington's British forces and the Prussian army led by General Blücher in what would become the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon had meticulously planned his attack, but fate had other plans. Heavy rains the night before the battle turned the ground into a quagmire. This unexpected delay in the start of the battle played a key role in Napoleon's ultimate defeat. His carefully laid plans for an early attack on Wellington's forces were disrupted by the mud, making it impossible for his artillery and cavalry to move with the usual speed and efficiency. As the battle began, Napoleon's forces initially held their ground, making progress against Wellington's troops. But the fight was far from over. The French attacked key positions like the farm of La Haye-Sainte, hoping to break the British line. Despite fierce resistance, Wellington's men held their ground. Napoleon, who was known for his speed and decisiveness, seemed to hesitate at crucial moments. Napoleon's decision to focus too much on La Haye-Sainte rather than other potential weaknesses in Wellington's line contributed to the slow progress of the French forces. It wasn't just Napoleon's timing that caused problems. It was his decision-making. He focused on specific areas of the battlefield that proved to be more fortified than expected, wasting precious time and resources that could have been better used elsewhere. While Napoleon was engaged with Wellington's forces, a critical factor was unfolding just out of sight. Prussian reinforcements under General Blücher were advancing. Napoleon believed that he had neutralized the Prussian threat, but by the late afternoon, they arrived on the battlefield. The French, already stretched thin, were suddenly outflanked, and the situation took a dramatic turn. Napoleon underestimated the speed of the Prussian forces, believing they would be too far away to make a difference. But the Prussians arrived just in time to tip the balance in Wellington's favor. The Prussians' arrival sealed Napoleon's fate. His forces, already exhausted and disorganized, were caught between two powerful armies. What followed was chaos as the French began to retreat, unable to withstand the combined might of the British and Prussian forces. Reenactments of Napoleon's Imperial Guard being deployed as the last line of defense. Slow-motion shots of the Imperial Guard charging, only to be defeated. Napoleon looking on, realizing his army is crumbling. As the situation worsened, Napoleon's last hope was his Imperial Guard, the elite soldiers who had never been defeated in battle. He sent them in as a final charge, hoping their legendary reputation would turn the tide. But even they were no match for the overwhelming numbers and fresh troops of the British and Prussians. The Guard was crushed, and with it, Napoleon's dreams of victory. The fall of Napoleon's Imperial Guard was symbolic of the collapse of his entire army. The Guard's defeat marked the final blow in a battle that had been lost long before the charge. Napoleon's retreating forces, the battlefield in chaos, soldiers surrendering, transition to a somber shot of Napoleon on horseback, looking defeated, transition to modern-day footage of Waterloo memorials and the remnants of the battlefield. Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo was not simply the result of one man's failure. It was a culmination of bad timing, strategic missteps, and unforeseen external forces. From the delayed start due to the rain, to the arrival of the Prussians and Napoleon's critical tactical errors, the odds were stacked against him. Yes, he made mistakes, but so did the forces around him. The shocking truth is that history has oversimplified his loss. Waterloo was not just a battle, it was the end of an empire shaped by fate, circumstance, and timing. Slow zoom out of the Waterloo battlefield, fading into a modern-day memorial. The The screen fades to black as the music fades out. Napoleon may have lost at Waterloo, but his legacy as one of history's greatest military leaders lives on. And while the truth of his defeat may never be fully understood, the lessons of Waterloo remain. Timing, strategy, and the unforeseen forces of history shape the destiny of nations.